stop everything for just 10 seconds, because the tiny copper coin you ignore for decades could be hiding big money. And I'm not talking about a few pounds or a novelty value. I'm talking about hundreds, thousands, and in rare situations, life-changing value. The coin is the 1971 British 2 new pence, and it's one of the most mysterious and misunderstood coins in modern UK history. Most people think it's just an old brown coin, something that sits in jars, old wallets, or dusty drawers. But collectors know the truth. This coin was born during one of the most chaotic moments in British monetary history. 1971 wasn't just another year. It was Decimal Day. Britain completely abandoned a money system that had existed for over 1,000 years. Pounds, shillings, and pence were wiped out overnight. Machines broke. Banks made mistakes. People panicked. And the Royal Mint was forced to produce millions of new coins at insane speed. And when you rush anything at that scale, errors are inevitable. That's when the hidden treasure started slipping through. Now here's the first shock. A normal worn 1971 2p coin is worth face value, but in uncirculated condition, graded by NGC or PCGS. Some examples have sold for £120 to £350. Same coin, same year, different condition. Suddenly, big money. Now reset your attention, because this next part is where it gets serious. The 1971 2p is one of the largest circulating coins ever issued in the UK. It's heavy, thick, and almost comically oversized. That alone makes it special, but size created a problem. The Royal Mint struggled with striking such a massive coin properly, and many early examples show weak strikes, off-center designs, double impressions, misaligned rims, and collectors pay huge premiums for these. An off-center 1971 2p with full date and Queen's head sold for £480. A double-struck example sold for over £900, and most people would never even notice these errors. Now here's where the mystery deepens. The inscription says new pence instead of 2 pence. That phrase became legendary because years later, a mistake version was made. The famous 1983 new pence, worth up to £100,000. But the 1971 version is the original source of that legend, and collectors hunt the earliest strikes, known as first-issue coins, which show sharper rims, deeper lettering, and richer copper tone. These early strikes can fetch £200 to £600 if pristine. Now reset again, because this one is shocking. There are 1971 2p coins struck on wrong metal planchets. Some are accidentally struck on 1p blanks, 4n blanks, experimental bronze alloys. These look thinner, lighter, or have unusual color. Sometimes golden, sometimes reddish, sometimes dull gray. One off-metal example sold for £750. Another reportedly sold privately for over £2, £500. A coin meant to buy nothing, now worth more than a holiday. Now here's the brutal part. Most people would spend it without thinking. That's how hidden treasure disappears forever. Now, let me teach you exactly how to identify a valuable 1971 2p. First, check the date. Must say 1971. There is no mint mark on UK coins, so don't look for letters. Look at the color. Standard is deep copper brown. If it looks golden, silver, or pale, that's suspicious. Weigh it. Normal weight is 7.12 grams. If it's heavier or lighter, you may have an off-metal strike. Check the rim. It should be thick and well-formed. If the rim is missing, split, or uneven, that's an error. Look at the Queen's portrait. Sharp detail means early strike. Soft detail means later strike. Now here's another reset. Proof coins. In 1971, special proof versions were made for collector sets. They have mirror-like surfaces and razor-sharp edges. Most people broke these sets and spent them. A genuine 1971 proof 2p in perfect condition can sell for £300 to £800. If graded PF69 or PF70, prices climb even higher. Now the most emotional part of the story. In 2019, a man in England found a bag of old coins left by his father. Inside was a pristine 1971 proof 2p. He almost donated it. Instead, he sent it for grading. It sold £4 620. Not millions, but for a coin he nearly threw away? That's big money. Now reset again. There are also die clash errors, where the queen's head and the feathers imprint faintly onto each other. These ghosts-like images look supernatural. Collectors love them. Values range from pound 150 to pound 600, and they're incredibly hard to see unless you know what you're looking for. Now here's the psychological twist. Because this coin is common, people assume it's worthless. That's why it's one of the most dangerous coins to overlook. The real hidden treasure isn't in rare coins. It's in common coins with rare mistakes. And this one is full of them. Now imagine this. You check an old Jardinite. You find a thick brown coin from 1971. You weigh it. It's wrong. You send it for grading, and suddenly you're holding a piece of metal worth pound 1, 500, pound 2, 000, maybe more, not because you were lucky, because you paid attention. That's the real lesson. The world is full of life-changing value, hiding in plain sight, and most people walk past it every day. So here's your cliffhanger. Right now, somewhere in your house or your parent house or your grandparents' house, there could be a 1971 2p coin that's already paid for your next holiday, your next car, or your next dream, but you'll never know unless you check. So tonight, don't scroll, don't sleep, don't assume. Go find your coins. Because the next piece of big money might already belong to you. And if you want more hidden treasure, more shocking stories, and more life-changing value, subscribe now. Because the coin you ignore tomorrow might be the one you regret forever.
Stop right there, because the tiny silver-colored coin you've probably ignored your entire life could secretly be worth more than a luxury car. I'm talking about the 1970 British 5 pence, a coin so misunderstood, so mysterious, that in the right form it has delivered big money, hidden treasure, and even life-changing value to the people who knew what to look for. Most people think it's just 5 pence, but what if I told you that some versions of this coin are worth hundreds, thousands, and even tens of thousands of pounds? Here's the strange part. The year 1970 was not a normal year in British coinage. The United Kingdom was preparing for the biggest change in its money system in over 1,000 years. Old pounds, shillings, and pence were about to be wiped out. Decimalisation was coming. And behind the scenes, the Royal Mint was experimenting, testing, and quietly striking new coins that were never meant for the public. And that's how the 1975 pence mystery was born. The public never saw a normal 5p in 1970. Officially, the 5 pence coin was first released in 1968. But in 1970, a small number of special 5p coins were struck only for proof sets and internal mint use. Most were never meant to circulate. Many were melted down. Only a handful escaped into collectors' hands. That's what makes this coin a hidden treasure. And if you find one, you're holding big money. Now here's the shocker. A genuine 1970 British 5p does exist, but not the way most people think. It was struck only in proof quality, meaning mirror-like surfaces, razor-sharp edges, and incredible detail. These coins were sold in extremely limited Royal Mint proof sets. And today, a real 1975p proof can sell for £500 to £2,000 depending on condition. But wait, there's something even crazier. There are a pattern version of the 1975p. These were experimental coins struck to test metal composition, thickness, and design. They were never intended for collectors. One of these 1975p pattern coins sold for over £10,000 at a London auction. That's a coin that originally represented 5 pence, now delivering a life-changing value. Oh, how do you tell if your 5p is special? Here's where it gets exciting. First, check the date. If it says 1970, stop everything. That alone makes it extremely rare. Now look at the color. A genuine proof or pattern coin will have a deep mirror-like shine. The fields will look like glass, while the queen's portrait and the crowned thistle will be frosted. Next, check the rim. Proof and pattern coins have perfect, squared rims. Normal circulation coins have softer, rounded edges. Now look at the details. On a real 1970 proof 5p, the queen's hair, the crown jewels, and the thistle petals will be razor sharp. If your coin looks dull, worn, or soft, it's likely not the rare version. But if it looks like it was struck yesterday, you could be holding big money. And now let me tell you a story that still shocks collectors. A family in England inherited a small box of old coins from their grandfather. Buried among them was a shiny 1975 pence piece. They assumed it was common, until a dealer noticed something strange. It was a proof strike. They sent it to auction.it, sold for over £1. 205 pence became a life-changing value. But we're not done yet. Some 1975p coins exist with die alignment errors where the front and back of the coin don't line up correctly. These mint mistakes make the coin even rarer. Error proofs like this have sold for £2,000 to £5,000. Then there are off-metal strikes. A few 1975p pieces were struck on the wrong metal blanks. These look different in color and weight. One of these freak errors sold for more than £8,000. That's not luck. That's hidden treasure. Now imagine how many of these are still sitting in old Royal Mint sets, estate collections, and forgotten drawers. Every single one is a potential big money jackpot. So if you ever see a 1970 British 5p, don't walk away, run toward it. Look at it. Study it. Because you might be holding a coin that was never meant for the public, a coin that slipped through history, a coin that now carries life-changing value. Before you spend or ignore any old British coins, go back and check them. Look for that date. Look for that shine. Look for that mystery. And if you want to keep discovering hidden treasure hiding in plain sight, hit subscribe right now, because the next coin I reveal could be worth even more than this one.
Stop right now, because there's a small copper coin sitting in drawers, jars, and old wallets across the UK, and even the US, that could secretly be big money. I'm talking about a coin most people have ignored for over 40 years. The 1979 British 2 new pence. And some versions of this coin are worth hundreds, thousands, and in rare cases, life-changing value. Most people think it's just pocket change, but collectors know something most of the world doesn't. This coin comes from one of the strangest eras in British money. In the early 1970s, Britain went through decimalisation. Old pounds, shillings, and pence were wiped out and replaced with a completely new system. It confused everyone. Machines broke. Banks made mistakes. The Royal Mint was under pressure like never before, and by 1979, something dangerous happened. The Royal Mint was pumping out millions of coins at insane speed, and quality control started to crack. That's when the hidden treasure began slipping through. Now here's the first shock. A normal worn 1979 2p coin is worth just face value, but in high-grade uncirculated condition ***, graded by NGC or PCGS, some examples have sold for £150 to £400. Same coin, same year, different condition. Suddenly, big money. Now reset your attention, because this is where it gets serious. There are 1979 2p coins struck with off-metal errors. That means they were accidentally struck on the wrong blank. Some were struck on 1p planchets, foreign blanks, experimental metal discs. These look thinner, lighter, or the wrong color. One off-metal 2p error sold for over £1,800. A coin meant to buy nothing, now worth more than a month's salary, and most people would never even notice. Now here's where the mystery deepens. The famous British error is the new pence mistake. Between 1971 and 1981, coins said new pence. After 1982, they changed it to 2 pence, but some coins were struck with the wrong dies years later. The most famous is the 1983 new pence worth over £100,000. But here's what most people don't know. There are 1979 transitional mules that show incorrect die pairings. Not as famous, but real. Some show wrong reverse alignment, partial lettering, die clashes, inverted or rotated dies. These aren't worth millions, but verified examples sell for £300 to £1,200 plus. Now reset again, because this next one is brutal. The 979 proof 2p. These were never meant for circulation. They came in special collector sets with mirror-like surfaces and razor-sharp detail. Most people spent them anyway,